Welcome back. Laura Bosma, Pretty Penny Precut, your stitching host in the Southeastern Quilt and Textile Museum. This is our fall stitch along project, Midnight Pumpkin, and we're on step 6A, threading your chenille needle. This is an example of the finished project completed as an oval or oval table runner or mat. And the one that I'm going to be working on actually is the flannel version of the background, but same color. And I'm going to make it into either a pillow or a sign. So I'm going to work from the rectangle that you would receive in your kit. So when we left off with step 6, we talked about preparing your floss. If you're working from floss, awesome. You do need to prepare it and get it into 3 strands, which is what I have here. If you're working from your own stash of pearl cotton threads, remember pearl cotton you use as is and you do not peel it. All right, my absolute best method, honestly, for threading a needle is to make sure that my fingers are wet. Again, we are stitching at what I guess they've downgraded it a bit during a pandemic, and I have really had to reteach myself not to stick the thread or my fingers in my mouth. So I usually just have a little bitty dish of water standing by and I dampen it. Then I smash it. So in my hand, I just simply press that so that instead of being round, I've got 3 strands that are acting as one and they're flat. And I have wetted them with water. Now they're still wanting to come apart a bit. Now if you have trouble working from one side, not a problem, go to the other end. It's all good. So I have made it wet. And again, I am right-handed. You would do opposite if you were left-handed. I simply rolled the barrel to see the barrel of the needle, which is the chenille needle. Again, chenille needles are elongated. I realize this is review for some of you, but for those that might be joining us new, this is a chenille needle. It's very sharp. It's probably a medium length needle, and it has a very elongated eye, and that's to accommodate these decorative threads. In this case, it's 3 strands of floss. Once I think I have identified the correct side, meaning I can see the eye, then I'm going to hold it and pray I can get it through on the first shot. Now I'm doing it without glasses because I think that makes it a little bit more fair. Now they split a little bit, but I still got that guy in, so I'm just going to pull him. And then just pull your threads so that they're even. Make sure that all 3 are in there. And I will usually do this, and I'm not sure you can see that on camera, but I have folded it over. I've got my 3 thread ends on the long end here. I'll get in screen. And then I've got my needle portion with its threads here, and I have folded it. Let me come down here a little bit so that I've got it folded to about there. When I say fold, I put it through the needle and brought it back down about that length. And then as you stitch, you'll just keep bringing this closer to the short end is the point there. So once you have done that, you have got that portion done, and then you need to tie a knot. I'll be honest with you, this is probably not the time to reinvent the wheel. If you do not make a knot the way I do, don't feel bad about it. If you like how I do it, then it's something to practice and try. I do use what is called a quilter's knot, and this is the same knot that a quilter would use to pop through the surface of a quilt that they were quilting by hand for those beautiful little tiny running stitches. But I'm going to hold the needle so that it's, basically vertical. And then I'm going to, you make a sandwich basically with your fingers. I've got index finger, let me get in the screen. Then I've got the needle, and then I'm going to cross it with the thread. Let me make sure you can see that. And I'm going to pinch all that. So again, I've got index finger, needle, which is perpendicular to the direction my finger is in, thread on top of the needle, and then my thumb holding it all secure. And I can see a little bit of the thread end over here. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to go behind the needle, which means that I'm virtually wrapping counterclockwise. And I'm going to wrap 1, 2, 3, which gives me some wraps on here, and I'm going to pull that down and hold that with my thumb. Then from the underneath my hand here, I am going to scoot the needle. I don't want to hang on to everything. It escaped my thumb. And then just pull to the sky, pull to the sky. I'm still putting pressure between my thumb and index finger, and all that thread is passing through right under my fingernail. And I'm going to pull, 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 and I'm going to pull some more so that there's nothing left over here. Once that goes up under my thumbnail, I can feel it, and then I'm going to expose it, and there's my knot. And that's what we call a quilter's knot. The better you get at it, the less you'll have over here to which is my right. So you can trim that down to about 1/4 of an inch. Again, that's going to be on the back side of your work. And because this is either wool or flannel that you're working on, these knots don't show. They don't lump up underneath, they don't show. So they're not that critical. And you can certainly leave a thread tail that long. So that's your chenille needle threaded using a quilter's knot. Again, if this is something new to you and you'd like to try it, go for it. Otherwise, tie whatever knot in a single, it's 3 strands, but we're calling it a single thread, works for you. And that's where we need to be in 6A. So that was threading your chenille needle. And we're done. Laura Bosma, Pretty Penny Precuts, your stitching host and the Southeastern Quilt and Textile Museum Fall Stitch Along Midnight Pumpkin.